Hello, this is Amer Qureshi. Thank you for joining me for my video blog. I have a special guest actually, Zeeshan, who's a young entrepreneur who's starting up a business, and he had some questions that he wanted to ask. So I thought, what better way to answer his questions than in front of all of you, so that you can also learn from the experience. Zeeshan, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Amer. It's a great privilege to be in your company. I hope that I can learn a few things from you.
Well, let's get straight to it then.
Sure.
So, what kind of business are you involved in?
Well, I have a couple of ideas about maybe going into agriculture or maybe investing into property acquisition that I feel might be profitable going forward.
Okay.
I have let's say a little kitty of money set aside. So I wanted to know how best to go about that.
Okay, so if you're going to start a business, I suppose one of the key things is to figure out how much capital you're going to need.
Okay.
और जो भी business होता है, essentially जब आप planning कर रहे होते हैं, you have to have enough money in reserve, so you can last as long as you need to before the cash starts coming in.
Okay.
So you need to do a little bit of planning, budgeting, cash flow forecasting to make sure कि जो आपके पास पैसे हैं, that will sustain you until such time as the business starts generating income. That requires you to sort of estimate जो expenses हैं, the pre-startup phase में जो expenses होते हैं, whether you need to employ staff, you need to rent offices, whether you need to develop some technology, वो सारा costing करने के बाद you'll have an idea of how much money you're actually going to need.
Right.
उसके बाद भी अगर कोई surplus है, then you can look at putting that aside somewhere else.
Okay. The other thing was keeping in view Pakistan's economy. It's quite volatile as well. A little while ago, the PSX sort of sank down.
Yes.
The political environment as it is at the moment, the current government being pro-business, would that affect my investments going forward?
Well, firstly, जब भी आप investment करने जा रहे होते हैं, तो you have to take at least a medium to long term approach.
Okay.
Short term में कोई भी investment जो है is not really safe, other than investing it in cash or cash management trusts or cash management funds जो होते हैं or term deposits. But if you're going to invest in anything, whether it's property, whether it's the stock market, you need to have a medium term approach, at least a medium term approach, because volatility बहुत ज़्यादा है. Pakistan market goes up and down a lot, and especially leading into an election, anything is possible. So yes, I would not be taking chances on those forms of investments at this time.
Okay. I've looked into this aspect of maybe investing into agriculture, as in farming of maybe animal farming. Bearing in mind that Pakistan, we love food.
Yes.
And we always want to sort of try new things. So recently what I've observed is farming for ostriches even in Pakistan is taking kind of big stride towards going sort of not exactly mainstream but kind of mainstream. Camel rearing as well is going quite good. So I was wondering if I could maybe look into that and what sort of things you would recommend.
Well, agriculture is a huge sector for Pakistan, as you know. Or Pakistan there is still a lot of opportunity. And what really appeals is a combination of technology and agriculture to me personally, because Pakistan में agriculture जो है अभी तक बहुत traditional तरीके से किया जाता है. The farmers don't have the technology. Many of them don't even own tractors and things like that. तो उनके लिए बहुत मुश्किल है. So फिर जो as a result जो productivity है हमारी ज़मीन से जो मिलती है, yield वगैरह is not that great. Consequently, there's a lot of opportunity to use latest technology in agriculture and become more productive. And then some of these new and innovative ideas like ostrich farming, etc. Of course, they have potential, but they're still probably a little bit complex for this market. Pakistan में basic level पे भी बहुत opportunities हैं. Just if you could manage and become more productive. Similarly, a lot of people have gone into dairy farming. There's still a lot of opportunity in that area as well.
True. Okay. The other thing is with regards to the government support in that area, would you be able to?
Well, the government is always trying to help, and for example, in Punjab, they have a body set up to help people starting up businesses. They can provide advice, etc. But like most government departments, getting that level of help, I'm not sure how effective or how useful it is. But certainly governments are keen to do that. And then there have been organizations like SMEDA around for a long time, which can also help people. But there are mixed reviews about how effective or helpful these people are. Some people speak very highly of them. Others say they don't get the help that they need. The only way to find out is actually to approach them and see how much help they are.
Fair enough. The other thing is, I've got a love for technology, and then looking at Pakistan's existing market, we have lots of potential to go forward. But my concern is, are the students being given enough knowledge or maybe information to deal with, and then maybe come up with some good solutions? I'm looking to maybe going in towards a cloud-based solution where we can have this a level of support for the students to learn those skills and work towards gaining some more let's say them being more independent in terms of not needing a job and working from home, that sort of thing. My perspective is that would really help. For instance, Pakistan being predominantly a conservative society, I would say that the girls could really do with this sort of support, where they could learn from their homes, earn from their homes. I am looking to this sort of thing, but I don't know how to go about that really.
But Pakistan actually does a lot of good work in this area. So, for example, freelancing is a huge business in Pakistan. Exactly. In Punjab, with the help of BITB, they have this setup where all the freelancers are provided office space and so on to work from. Okay. So they're generating a lot of money for Pakistan. Similarly, if you were to go to websites like Fiverr.com and so on, you'll find a lot of freelancers are from Pakistan. So there is an opportunity, but it's a competitive area, and if you're going to compete in that space, you've got to have the skills, you've got to have the capability to be able to outperform your competitors from any part of the world. The good thing is anyone or sab jo hai compete kar sakte hain. It's an open field. But the bad thing is then you've got to deliver. Or my own experience with some of the service providers on Fiverr.com, for example, jo Pakistan ke hain, their level of service is really not up to scratch. In comparison, when I've dealt with people from countries like Indonesia and so on, they're much more professional.
That's one thing I wanted to touch upon as well. The idea I want to take forward is about coaching these people, these students, how to deal with real life scenarios. Maybe supervising a bunch of students,
yes,
and gaining that experience while they're at when as part of the course. So we could sort of take them through this this process where they can learn a few things, apply in the market, and learn at the same time being monitored by a professional like a mentor.
Yes.
Per se.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because that helps these people learn about all aspects of running a business. Not just it's not about knowing technology or knowing how to do a certain thing, but you've got to then provide the service, you've got to get paid for it, you've got to make sure the client is satisfied, and you've got to market your services so you get more work. And all of these things are what our younger generation, the young IT people seem to be struggling with. They may have the technical capability, they may know a programming language or know how to develop an app, but they certainly don't know the finer aspects of running a business. And this would be very useful for them. The only question is, how do you make money out of it? That's what you need to think about.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. This is Amer Qureshi. I hope you enjoyed this video blog. Hope to see you next time.